So welcome back. We wanted to give you guys a quick update on the state of Senate Bill 25-003. So on Thursday they sat down for the second reading of the bill, and it drug on for about 10 hours. There were a lot of amendments brought forth by Republicans. All of them got shot down. There were a lot of amendments brought forth by the Democrats, and all of them passed. They were all pretty much done late in the session. I mean, they went until about 1:30 in the morning with the entire thing, and it passed the second reading. They attached a few amendments, like I was saying, but one of the big one that they attached was Amendment L41, which basically summed up is a license to buy amendment. It was introduced by the bill sponsor, Julie Gonzalez, and it creates a Colorado Firearms Safety Course eligibility card, which is basically like the FOID card in Illinois that has recently been deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. And it basically creates a system of hoops that you have to jump through, and will allow you to still purchase and own the banned guns, but you have to take either pre-qualifying courses or a hunter safety course through Colorado Parks and Wildlife. And if you've taken a hunter safety course, it brings the requirement down to a 4-hour course that is also managed by CPW. We don't know if it's going to go through private instructors like you can take a CCW class, but it will result in a card that you can get like a CCW license, where you have to do fingerprints and they get sent into CBI, and it gives you a 5-year window where you're allowed to purchase and own any kind of semi-automatic, detachable magazine, gas-operated gun. And after that 5 years is up, you can go reapply and get your license extended, but you have to do it every 5 years. And it's basically turning the whole thing into a pay-to-play system. So they don't want you to have these, but you can have them as long as you pay for it, and they make the money off of it. Part of the stipulations that went along with the bill, the Republicans wanted a fiscal note to be attached to the bill, and the initial amendment, when it came through initially, didn't have a fiscal note attached to it. When it came back, it had a fiscal note attached to it, and I mean, it looks like they're going to use it as a way to recoup some money. There's about $1 billion shortfall in the legislative budget for this year, and so they'll use that as a way to create some revenue. It's going to add like $250,000 budget to CPW in order to staff this entire thing, so that's something to take into consideration. They're going to have to hire more agents and probably create a new department just to handle this entire thing. The fiscal bill came back at $1.8 million, which it's pretty significant in trying to put a dent in that $1 billion budget shortfall they have. It will go back into a third session tomorrow, which will have a reading, the third reading, and then a final vote. If it passes tomorrow, then it will move into the House chamber, and the process starts all over again. So after it goes through the House, it goes to the governor's desk, and whether he chooses to sign it, a lot of people think he is. A lot of people think he won't. He helped write the amendments, but that's not a guarantee of a signature. We'll see what happens. The classes are pretty much going to focus on safe handling of semi-automatic firearms and magazines, the proper storage practices, or especially around kids, a complete understanding of firearm-related laws, red flag laws, things like that. It's, like we're saying, it's basically a pay-to-play system. It shows that it's more geared around money than safety, because as we've stated before, and numerous other people have stated before, the people that this will affect are not the people that are going out and committing the crimes for the most part. Most law-abiding citizens who buy a gun at a gun shop aren't the ones going out and committing the street crime with guns. Most of the street crime is committed by people who aren't obtaining them legally to begin with. It's a lot of back alley deals and straw purchases. So we'll see where this goes. Just wanted to give you guys this this quick update just so you had an idea of what's going on. There's a lot of talk around this and not a lot of, we've had people come in that weren't aware of any of this stuff. So some of the other amendments that surrounded this bill was there was Amendment L29, which increases the penalty for purchasing a magazine over 15 rounds. It was going to be a Class 2 misdemeanor. They're moving it up to a Class 1, so stiffer penalties for that. There was Amendment L27, which exempts semi-automatic firearms that take detachable magazines as long as they're permanently converted in a fashion to where they epoxy or weld the magazine in, which it's not really a feasible thing to do and allow the gun to be operational. So again, we'll see where that goes. There was also Amendment L30, which a lot of the Republican senators were expressing their concern around guns that are already owned and things like hunting rifles that aren't used in the crimes that they're concerned with. So they came up with a 40 rifle list of rifles that would still be allowed if the bill passes. And a lot of it doesn't make sense because some of the guns that are included in the list of allowable guns are things like a Ruger Mini 14, which, if you know anything about guns, the difference between a Ruger Mini 14 and an AR-15 is pretty much aesthetics. I mean, you can still throw a 30-round mag into that thing. They were still used in war. They have M1 carbines in there. Browning, the BAR, is in the list of acceptable guns. So you could tell this was written by people who don't really have an idea of what they're talking about and haven't been around firearms and aren't familiar with how they work and the differences between them. I mean, a lot of the guns in the list, you look at it, and the difference between the guns is brand. They work the same. They operate on the same basic principles of how a semi-automatic rifle works. So we are once again going to include a few links in the description down below that has contacts for local senators. You can email or call Jared Polis's office, tell him how you feel. Hopefully it doesn't fall on deaf ears. There was also a video that was filmed of Senator Sullivan talking to Ian Escalante from RMGO, and RMGO had dropped off boxes of letters and petitions from all the local constituents to their local senators and congressmen, basically telling them why they didn't want this to pass, how it violates their constitutional rights, and asking them for a no vote. In the video that RMGO posted, Senator Sullivan basically calls the box of petitions from his constituents in Arapahoe County a box of trash. And so it kind of goes to show that if you're on their side of things and are agreeing with the bills they're putting forward, then, you're good to go. But if you have an opposing view, even if you are one of their local constituents, somehow that petition and that opinion becomes trash. So we will see where this goes, and we will update you guys after they vote on this tomorrow and let you know if it's going to the House or if it gets stopped. Hopefully it does, but I'm guessing it'll move forward to the House, and we'll just have to keep fighting this. Thanks for tuning in, and hit up those links and send your senators and local reps messages and let them know how you feel. And if enough of us get the word out and talk to these people, hopefully we can affect some change, but we'll see what happens. Talk to you guys later.